Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and today I am joined by Emma Sanders as we discuss Liverpool's takeover of Melwood. Is that what you call
Yeah,
it?
yeah, repurchase.
Repurchase, yeah. Obviously this is a little bonus video alongside the podcast from this week, as me and Amy did discuss it in quite a bit of depth in that video. And then obviously our usual look. Podcast goes out the same day that it's announced that we actually buy it back. So yeah, it is what it is. But me and Emma thought we'd sit down and have a little chat. As Emma seems to know everything about everything in women's football at the minute. But yeah, it's just one of them, isn't it? You know, obviously the re buyback of Melwood is such an iconic place for Liverpool. Obviously, the men's team had that facility for over 70 years, and now to finally be able to house our women's team in such an iconic place, but also in a place that is Liverpool's, is just amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's sort of a full circle, isn't it? That yes, the consumers of adult team club has had us because of the obviously the lack of sort of elite. So yeah, to then buy back Melwood and sort of do full circle and be a part of kind of that history of the club, and yeah, obviously bring back the elite facilities and all that sort of thing. I think it's just the perfect scenario, really. I think if anyone sort of followed kind of my updates on it, which has been going on for a while because it has been a long process. Yeah, they've obviously looked at a lot of sites and they were exploring different areas around Merseyside, and obviously they've been training in the Wirral for a while now at Tranmere Rovers Solar Campus. So I just think the fact that they're now kind of more in the heart of the Liverpool Football Club community in terms of the location as well is also really important.
Yeah.
And yeah, to sort of, yes, it's taken a long time, but actually the most desirable outcome has happened. So actually now in hindsight, the patience has paid off.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said there, it's been something that's been going on for so long that you were kind of getting to the point as is anything ever going to happen? You know, are we just going to end up staying at Solar Campus and all that kind of stuff? But it's obviously that these things always have someone working behind the scenes for them. So even though we might not think anything's going on, there's always something happening around it. But what does that mean for the stadium wise? Like, is was that a deal with the training campus and the stadium together? So does that now mean we have to strike up a kind of second deal with Tranmere to kind of keep playing at Prenton, or do you think there'll ever be a point where we kind of move on from Prenton and start playing somewhere else?
Yeah, so as it stands, they're two completely different agreements. So the women will be playing at Prenton Park. I don't know for how long, but certainly for at least the next sort of 2 years or so at the very least. I know the club still has a really good relationship with Tranmere Rovers, and they've enjoyed some good times at Prenton Park. And I actually think since the pitch was relayed, what is it now, 2 years ago, the stadium, I think it's a really good stadium. Yes, it's a little bit further out, but actually, if you look at the quality of the pitch and the sort of the things that are there on a match day, the fact that you've got a car park, you've got the pub next door up the Clipper,
Yeah.
um, you've obviously got that area for the pre-match sort of fan activity, like the family kind of play area, and then obviously like the vans and stuff. It's actually, you can compare that to some other clubs in the WSL, and it's certainly up there in terms of one of the better match day experience facilities. So personally, I don't think there's any reason to move. Obviously, I think it would be desirable to be more in Liverpool. It is out in the sticks. It's not a local city centre area, but I think really when you look at the business side of things, when you start looking for really niche things like that, you're actually going to struggle to find a lot of things that will tick off a lot of the requirements that you need for a WSL standard stadium.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely, certainly within the short to medium term, there's no intention to move away from Prenton Park. but you never know what can happen in the long term. And obviously the fact that they have brought back Melwood and they will be investing in that. So the players are actually not going to move into there immediately in pre-season because they're going to be doing a few things to it, but they'll be in there long before before the season starts. But now it's their own. Liverpool, they could expand Melwood, and you never know what can happen there. They might end up building sort of a match day pitch there, but I do think that is pretty unlikely.
Yeah, because that was one of the thoughts I first had in terms of like trying to create it like something Everton women have got, where you add a few stands, a nice little pitch, and do it that way. But when you actually look at the size of Melwood, yes, it's huge, but it's also probably not big enough to be able to do both, which is unfortunate because that's kind of like an ideal spot to have that. But yeah, like you said, I don't think that would be a wise decision. But yeah, in terms of sticking at Prenton, like I don't see the problem with that. Like you said, it's one of the better stadiums in the league, so we can't really complain about that. The lack of red seats is kind of a problem, but
Yeah.
there's that little section that I sit in that is red, so that's fine. But yeah, in terms of just then the facility itself, we've mentioned like the pros obviously of going into it. One of the things that was discussed in terms of them maybe potentially not going there was the lack of room in terms of getting academy players in, and it basically being able just to house like the first team, because obviously Robbie Fowler has his community group there as well. So all that's kind of staying the same, which is really good that they can carry on with that. But what does that mean then going forward for like the academy in terms of, will they have a chance to train there as well, or are they going to stick to where they are at the minute and kind of it's just a case of them kind of picking players to be like, we want to watch you, yet you're going to have to come and join in with the first team, basically?
Yeah, no, so the girls' professional program, so the academy, and also sort of, the younger kind of schoolgirl groups that you would call them, they will be training there as well alongside the first team. That is why one of the reasons why they'll be doing some sort of investment over the summer is to, just expand those areas and make sure that sort of everyone can get in. I don't know the ins and outs of the agreement in terms of the Robbie Fowler and the Jamie Carragher
Yeah.
sort of workshop groups and things like that. But I think my understanding is that they'll probably work in tandem with the girls' academy, and if anything, the girls' academy would probably take priority on things like that. So I think actually it'll probably be a bit more flexible on the sort of the Jamie Carragher, Robbie Fowler side of things, and they'll work around the girls' academy. So no concerns there, certainly from my part, and from what I hear, there'll be more than enough room. And I think it's a long time since I was at Melwood, but I think from what I can remember, it's about 3 full-size pitches
Yeah,
for the first team. And then obviously there'll be space sort of around that as well. But obviously I doubt the first team will need the 3 full-size pitches. So there'll definitely be some room there for the academy girls and the community stuff that Robbie Fowler and Jamie Carragher will be doing. So everything's there really, I think.
amazing. Yeah, I think the girls will probably only be able to. I mean, well, it's kind of like an expansion of what can Matt Beard do in his training sessions. Then, like, can he add more considering the space that he's got? And then it's just also everything that goes along with it. Like, I've been for a tour in Melbourne when you could go and pay and do it, and it was unreal when you went inside. It's like
I
it
didn't know
looked.
you could do that.
Yeah, it was like it was ages ago now. I don't know if you can still do it, but when you it looks smaller from the outside than when you go in, you're like, how the hell is all of this in one place? But obviously the gym's huge. They've got a pool there. I think just everything that women's football, there's a lot of injuries, especially of late. It's just injury central, I feel like, all the time. And it's just having that space. I mean, I don't know what Sola's like in terms of the gym facilities and stuff, but the recovery facilities at Melwood are like unreal. So the fact that a
Yeah.
player will be able to go there and get like the right recovery that they need from the club is just amazing. But it kind of feels like now's the right time to make this investment for the team, because obviously being back in the WSL now, we've obviously secured a second season there. It kind of seems like we feel like we're only going to go up from this point rather than, we've been a bit of a standstill for a couple of seasons now. It's kind of like a new chapter for Liverpool women to kind of, you've got your own space. You've still got Prenton. There's going to be a handful of players that are going to come in the summer because we've had to have a handful of players go. So it kind of just feels like the right moment for the club to make this move for the women's team and kind of have that for them and be able to make their own memories there and their own stamp on that place, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And just to sort of touch on what you were saying before about the facilities, I don't think it's just the facilities as well. I think it's being able to sort of have your own training program and work on your own hours and you work on your own terms. And I know that was something that Matt Beard was very keen when he first, returned to the club, and his staff as well. It was not having to work around the schedules of Tranmere, etc. And even things like media duties and stuff like that, the small stuff, sponsor things, and you've got to book in time and you've got to rearrange your entire schedule, for a half an hour thing because the pitch might be in use or the gym might be in use and things like that. So that will make a massive difference to their training schedule and the way that they program things. But yeah, in terms of the significance of the timing, definitely you're right. WSL's on the rise now as well. You look at things like, we're in the midst of a WSL takeover. Obviously, the FA set to be handing over to a sort of a club-owned company from next year. That's going to bring new sort of shareholders, sponsors, broadcast deals, things like that. So more money's obviously going to be going into WSL as well. Yeah. And I don't think we can hide from the fact, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing because it's business and that's what football is. But I think the timing of it is, I think the club have recognised that actually they can invest now and be able to sustainably make some money from it, which hasn't really been the case for a while. But they will be getting something back from their investment this time, which they can then obviously reinvest and continue to grow the club. So I think that was obviously another significant factor in the timing of things. And also, it's the start of the transfer window. And I think when you're bringing players to a club like Liverpool with a brand like Liverpool, which, one of the biggest clubs in the world, and then you sort of then take players around Solar Campus, it doesn't quite tally up. So now, Matt Beard, not only does he have the facilities and he's got, the sort of the training program and everything that he wants there in terms of the recovery and things like that, when he's now trying to attract players to the club as well, those facilities that are befitting of a professional team that should be representing Liverpool. And I think that's really important as well. So we might not see it in this summer transfer window, but maybe going forward, just small details like that. It might be able to fend off competition from clubs around you, because if you've got better facilities and there's not much between sort of where the club is at in terms of their playing standards, then it's a no-brainer. You're going to go to the club that's got the better facilities. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's also a big boost as well.
Yeah, the little kid in me is like so excited for it. I said to Amy, I was like, but yeah, we'll be the ones on the bins, like looking over the wall, like watching them, like all the little kids. I was like, it's just gonna be so amazing for like the generation that's growing up watching Liverpool women now to kind of be able to go down to Melwood and see them training, or I mean, I don't condone looking over the wall, but it's.
I mean, let's face it, you and Amy would fall in the bins. There's no way you'd be standing on.
I don't know where we're getting the bins from, by the way. I don't know whose bin we're taking, but it's just going to be, it's amazing. Maybe a few Mappy press conferences as well. There's a lovely little room there.
There is. It's a great press conference room.
It's a lovely press conference room, so, could I a bit of that going on. So, yeah, we'll see. But, yeah, it's just amazing, isn't it? But, yeah. Thank you very much for joining me this morning, giving me the details.
No worries.
Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do over the next couple of weeks, but hopefully leading up to the World Cup, we'll have a few bits of bobs going out. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like the video, comment, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you all next time with a new video. Bye.
Bye.